grandparents were in the boating business, so we were born into a boating family.
Sailing's in my blood. The first time I ever sailed, first time I remember sailing, I think I was 4.5 years old.
I'm a second-generation Trilogy boat captain, so my dad spent 36 years working with the company, so I was born and raised on the boats.
My dad just said, take us towards those two trees. They're looking at Wallow Point, so the two trees up right there.
In fact, Jim and I were running little skiffs before we could ride a bike. So at ages 4 and 5 years old, we were running little boats and little dinghies around.
I think I ended up falling asleep, actually, because there's a photo of me fully slunched over at the helm. Still holding the wheel, but fully asleep. So.
I never grew up on the water, but I've always enjoyed being out here in Maui and smelling the fresh salt air and having the wind in my back and putting the sails up and turning the engines off, and just how quiet it is and peaceful it is.
Cutting the engines, then filling the boat just kind of take over on its own. No sound or anything, everybody's quiet. You hear that whoosh in the sails as you're going, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
I don't know, there's something way more peaceful about being on the water and the silence of sailing versus, you know, just having the constant roar of engines and generators and all that stuff that kind of comes with being on really big boats.
Best job I've ever had. Love working on the boats, meeting new people every day. The sailing out here is spectacular, and you know, between that and the whales and the weather, you just couldn't ask for any better place to live.
The love I have for the ocean just comes from my dad, so it's like kind of instilled in me from the very beginning. So that sense of when he would cut the engines, raise the main, right off Kamaiki Point, off the coast of Lanai, it was just beautiful, and it still sticks with me to this day. So the beautiful thing is I'm on the same boats that he was on, so every time I'm sailing, it's almost like I'm still sailing with him.
Family, being able to raise my kids out here and teach them about the ocean and the environment.
So for me, it's a family thing, and it's a way to kind of stay connected with my family anytime I get to go sail.
Actually, I got to fish my first year commercially when I was 11 years old, fished the Gulf of Alaska with my first cousin for 3.5 months. Something about the smell of Stockholm tar and paint and nets and all those things that would just make me want to go back to being on a boat again. And it was almost like an addiction.
It's peaceful, it's quiet, and it's fun. It's like a playground when, you know, different conditions dictate different things, and it's entertaining, it's fun, it's a challenge.
Every day is different. I mean, it's not always, you know, sheet glass out there. So some days it's rough, some days it's calm. So you just kind of go with the flow.
Switching the sails over, driving, tacking, there's a lot of work involved, and just it's a lot of fun.
Not really expecting, you know, anything great, and then all of a sudden you're having like the best day of your life, you know, when you least expect it. That's what I like about it, because you never know what you're going to get yourself into out there.
Without a doubt, the highlight of the work that we're in is getting able to meet people really personally throughout the whole year, and people from all walks of life, from all different places of the world, actually. Really neat connections, just meeting real people and being able to introduce them to the things that I love to do is just very rewarding.
I try to always get, you know, 2, 3, 4 people to come up and see how the boat runs, let them steer the boat, handle some lines a little bit, nothing too dangerous, but just kind of get them involved a little bit. And
having all the passengers help lift the sail up, get it sail off the wind, let people take the helm.
A lot of times people come back and they're just, how does that work? How can you go into the wind? And then when you explain to them that it's like a big airplane wing, then it all makes sense to them.
With certain people, they get it from the very beginning. They get that love as soon as we cut the engines and we're just sailing. It's just, they see the smile that comes across your face and they're like, wow, I can get a sense of that because I'm smiling ear to ear.
And the light goes on, and it's just kind of a joy to see that happen.
So right now we're literally sailing around the tips of these just tallest volcanoes on Earth in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You can't really get that perspective unless you're out there on the water.
Natural beauty and everything around us here, it's like, you know, every day you pretty much have a little goosebump moment.
just being outside, being able to see the sunset every day, the wind, the whales, the dolphins, just the wildlife. That's my favorite part of it. Is just there's something new in the water every day you get to see. So
it's like going to work in a National Geographic magazine whenever they're here. There's certain days where they come up right underneath you, where, I mean, you have people from all over the world that are so excited just to be here for this one thing, and when you get to see how excited it makes you and also makes other people, it's just, I don't know, it's just exciting and They're just cute.
The channel from Honolulu Bay back to Kaanapali Beach is by far the best. You get the longest sail time of any of our trips. We do about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half of sail time just about every single day.
Just outside of Maui, right here along the coastline, sailing down to Molokini. We do that every Sunday. I come out here.
I know as a kid where I loved the water, but I was afraid of the ocean. And so it wasn't until we actually had built the original Trilogy and took off and we're blue water sailing, and I, acquired skills and knowledge and a certain confidence that fear was replaced by respect for the ocean as well as humility.
Whenever we build new boats, we got to sail them over here from the mainland, get them built up in the northwest typically, and then we got to deliver them back to Maui. And I've done the last two, and that is just one of the most amazing experiences you could ever have, just being out there in the middle of the ocean for 14 to 15 days sometimes. You really, your perspective really focuses on what you're doing right then and there in the immediate. All you're worried about is keeping your boat floating, keeping your crew happy, and keeping yourself on track to where you want to be going. You don't care about the politics of the world or what's happening outside, because that becomes irrelevant at that point. At that point, you're a journey. You're trying to get from one destination to the other, and you don't want to die trying.
Well, and after we'd spent 2 years with the family sailing in the South Pacific, we had very little motivation to go back to anything else. Our main concern and challenge was, how can we make this lifestyle a vocation that can support the family? And that was the genesis for Trilogy, and for the business that we're in today is sharing that lifestyle with people on a daily basis.
Just, thankful to be part of all this, and aloha and a hui ho.